This is the Brave New Coin Crypto Conversation, hosted by Andy Pickering.
Hi everyone, Andy Pickering here. I'm your host and welcome to the Crypto Conversation, a Brave New Coin podcast where we talk to the people building the future in the Bitcoin, blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Today's podcast is brought to you by Leverage, a new fully featured decentralized futures exchange without compromise. Leverage is a DEX, so you can trade with your keys and sign orders with just one click. And Leverage is fast. Yes, indeed, Leverage is powered by Gluon, a Layer 2 solution with the scalability and speed of a centralized exchange and the super low fees of a DEX. That's right, Leverage combines the best features of CeFi and DeFi so you can trade crypto spot and derivatives with up to 100x leverage while maintaining control of your assets at all times. And this month, Leverage are running a trading competition with a $25,000 grand prize that goes to the account that gets the largest dollar value increase over that period. And there's lots of smaller prizes too. Want in? Of course you do. If that's you, go to leverage.io/leaderboard for all of the details. And of course, Leverage is spelled LEVERJ.io and trade the future of crypto today. And now it's on with the show.
Yeah, boy!
My guest today is Tim Frost. Tim is the CEO of the Yield app, and the Yield app has a mission, and that mission is to give everyone access to the best investment opportunities regardless of their financial or technical knowledge. Hey, welcome to the show, Tim.
Thanks, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Well, to begin with, Tim, why don't we just learn a little bit about yourself? Love to hear just a little bit about your background and your career path and what led you to the blockchain space, DeFi, and Yield.
Yeah, absolutely. So I probably had a little bit more kind of unconventional path to kind of how I got into the kind of blockchain space. But so I guess it started as that some people would kind of get into it. It's more about a kind of a trading interest. Back in probably 2014, just started taking a look at Bitcoin and what kind of opportunities there were. Obviously, there's all this happening and a lot of hype that was kind of developing, and then just kind of really started to fall into it and started learning about like altcoins and such, and decided like I wanted to see if I could potentially make a living and kind of a little transition in my life and to the sector. And then over time I kind of got involved, and I think early on I had a few kind of blockchain startups myself. Had a supply chain anti-counterfeit startup for using blockchain technology, and we were an incubator kind of early on, and realized that we were way too early in this kind of this space, and I pretty much think it's still pretty much too early for a lot of these kind of widespread blockchain applications. Then I got involved with a kind of young startup called eCoin that later became Wirex, which is now the largest crypto card company in the world, and became a founding team member there. And they've grown now to over 3.5 million clients. Then I kind of, I guess, learned how to kind of grow early stage fintech, and then that kind of just became my passion. I started my own, basically a kind of incubator, and then started working with early stage fintech companies and helped them kind of, I guess, that get off the ground in that early stage kind of chaotic part of their journey. So it's really kind of become my specialty. Worked with a lot of high profile companies, especially that early stage. And then when I got, I guess I about a year ago, I kind of got to this point. I was like, well, it's time for me to do another startup again. And, I wanted to do a crypto fintech company, but I didn't really kind of know what I wanted. I wanted to do something similar to what I helped create at Wirex. Was kind of more of a mass retail but it, just wanted to do something that was, I guess, more exciting and would offer clients something, that was something that they don't have right now, and was always a big fan of what kind of BlockFi and Celsius and Nexo had kind of created. And then when I guess during the DeFi kind of intense time started, and then you just started really, as on a personal level, started exploring about what decentralized finance was. And I think that's kind of when it really kind of all clicked together, and realized that, there's a kind of full economy kind of built, and that's all happening on chain through smart contracts. And at the same time, it was super complex. People didn't understand what was really happening. And, I started kind of putting ideas together, and, could we create a fintech company that could be able to kind of tap into this DeFi world and offer people these high yielding opportunities without all the complexities and all the risks involved. So, we're actually about a year from kind of those kind of early days, and we've now launched a yield app. And we're almost about 2 months after kind of our public launch. We have about 28,000 clients, and I think about 70 million in deposits, and that have kind of become investments. And it's growing by the hour right now, and it's been pretty exciting and pretty much a whirlwind at the same time.
Fantastic, and yeah, look, I'm sure it has been a whirlwind. And look, you sort of touched on this, Tim. It sounds like you've had indeed quite a long background in fintech, and I think that's kind of what's quite interesting about yield and what you guys are doing is it seems like you're sort of bridging that gap between I guess fintech and DeFi. So maybe do you want to just explain a little bit about what that means and how you're trying to bridge that gap and really what yield is?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have what's happening in this DeFi space, which is, well, in the end, I mean, what is exciting is just I guess the types of yields that people are able to kind of tap into this, and at the same time, it's very complex, and people are starting to deploy very very kind of complex strategies. However, there's kind of a high barrier to entry. It's kind of a knowledge base, same as it's kind of almost trading kind of stocks and whatnot, but even I think to the nth degree, much more dangerous, because while the markets can be quite unforgiving, this market is, well, for all intents and purposes, it's virtually run by a lot of anonymous people, right? So at the same time, but people can often kind of go down the wrong path. So we've tried to mitigate three major issues that we see. The high barrier to entry, which is the sheer gas fees of the Ethereum network. And while other blockchains have kind of stepped up and be able to provide similar types of opportunities with a kind of a lower cost barrier, which we're quite excited about, indeed. But the sheer complexity of where you should be putting your capital, what you should be trusting, and just the sheer amount of time that you need to kind of devote to just to grasp the fundamentals. So we made it really easy for people. You sign up for an account in about 2 minutes. Once you have your account, you can deposit your crypto. Soon we'll have strong fiat rails that we'll be implementing as well, and simply decide to invest into one of our funds. So on the back end, we have all these tools that we can build out where we take care of all this portfolio management system, right? We have a full team kind of working around the clock to be able to understand everything that's happening, or a lot of pretty much automation that's be able to pass on those yields for yourself. So for the clients, they just enjoy kind of basically daily rewards coming off, and knowing that their money is safe and secure, that we're handling all of it on our side.
Yeah, and so we'll talk me through that then. Is this custodial? Is it non-custodial? People have to they have to send their assets to you guys. What happen? How does that work?
Yeah, so every client will have their own account, their own wallet. But yes, it is a full custodial, and like we use currently use BitGo wallets, and we're in the process of migrating to a kind of an upgraded version as well. But so when you do it, you know that your funds are essentially with a kind of a basically a licensed fintech that is has all the proper procedures, much as it would be with kind of your kind of Binance accounts where you would essentially send money in there and knowing that you can reset your password, you can forget your 2FA, and knowing that it's at the same time this we believe we're building a product out for, I guess, for the billions of people that are probably not ready yet to kind of handle their own keys and their own security. More about my mother. It's kind of more that demographic and the average person.
Yeah, well, I think that is a huge market, as you'll be very aware, Tim, and because I'm sure anyone listening to this will be, obviously fairly involved in crypto already, but they will be getting queries from their friends and family, and inevitably once people they might get a little bit of Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they start to hear about all the different yield and opportunities that are available in DeFi, but as I think you've pointed out, the learning curve is quite steep, and to be really making the most of those DeFi opportunities, you have to be, literally at 24/7 following what's going on. So I guess that's a roundabout way of saying yes, can certainly see the product market fit and the target audience for your product here, Tim.
Yeah, no, thank you. We've done quite a bit of work and really tried to understand our market. So I think with the overwhelming the feedback that we feel like we're really into something quite special.
And just so in terms of the people that can use your product, obviously if you've got sort of 1 foot in DeFi and 1 foot in FinTech, you're potentially, and you're obviously holding people's assets, so there'll be more regulation boxes that you need to tick. So, who is able to use your service? Are there any restrictions on that?
Yeah, so we're currently not serving just a few markets. The United States, as we're not yet approved to serve this demographic. There's also kind of more blacklisted kind of jurisdictions as well. But for the most part, we serve a kind of a global marketplace right now, and that's kind of where we sit at, and we want to continue to provide a kind of global service.
Of course. I mean, you need to compete with the BlockFis and the Celsius companies of this world. And what do you think of those guys? I mean, they really have been this kind of the success stories of the last 18 months or so. Coinbase, of course, similar success story. They're about to IPO, and I think their Q1 earnings report is about to be released, and I think the industry will be watching that with interest. What do you think?
They're fantastic companies. I mean, overall, I think they're kind of inspiration to what they've been able to accomplish. So I said we're going down kind of, I guess, parallel paths. We just have a much different kind of thesis internally about where we're actually what people are able to earn their yield in. But overall, I mean, they've helped bring, I guess, interest-bearing accounts for millions of new people into the world, into the world of crypto. So I'd say, well-run companies, and where I think they're just kind of a staple of what we're targets that we're kind of coming after as a company ourselves.
And we'll talk to me then, Tim, about some of any sort of growth metrics or metrics that you're tracking in terms of, I guess, assets under management, user signups, anything that you're prepared to kind of reveal publicly, just to kind of get an idea of your growth trajectory, and how is that sort of tracked out over the last year or so, and where do you see it going this year?
Yeah, so we're about 2 months after our public launch. We just finished basically our first operational quarter.
Right.
Right now we have just crossed yesterday 28,000 users, and I believe $70 million in assets under management. So
Yep.
where we're kind of going at, we're I guess working on our Q2 targets right now, but we're seeing is specifically that AUM, we're projecting to grow to over 300 million by the end of the quarter, and so we're seeing seven-figure daily growth right now. So all signs are pointing to a very healthy growth in the future.
Nice. And I understand that you're also working on, of course, Yield 2.0, the next phase of the app, I guess. So maybe anything you can share in terms of what's on the roadmap, what's in the product pipeline?
Yeah, it's about kind of adding more diversification and more functionality to actually the platform. So it's been fantastic. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, and we have kind of a data team and kind of daily, and we've understand where we're kind of going with this 2.0. In all reality, we've kind of grown faster than we kind of initially kind of projected, and it's a good sign. But we're in the process of kind of that redevelopment point just for that, be able to hit that scale, right? And particularly the wallets will have wallets that will be able to operate our business, I think, more kind of cost effective than what we kind of currently have, and plus that starts to open up new opportunities because besides different assets we're running on kind of ERC20, right? We were to start implementing more kind of cross chain and starting to kind of even explore the possibilities of how we can implement NFT as well.
Well, look, I want to dig into NFTs just a little bit further with you, but just before we do that, I know there's also a yield token, so maybe let's just do that first. How does the yield token work within your ecosystem?
Yeah, so it's a membership token. So on our platform, you today can earn between 12 to 20% APY, and the way to earn up to 20% APY is to hold up to 20,000 YLD or more. And so that kind of at this moment it unlocks kind of new, I guess, higher APYs onto the platform. And we're in the process of kind of releasing kind of more and more kind of added features to our kind of top tier members onto the platform. So members they can acquire tokens onto Uniswap and to like BitMax, which just rebranded to I guess Ascend, and we just kind of added SushiSwap as well as people are daily kind of I guess purchasing and swapping internally on within the app itself, and kind of acquiring a YLD. So it's just being able to kind of give you more access, and overall I think that the thing people care most about is just be able to maximize their APYs. A lot more is coming. We have insurance that we're kind of working on as well, and this is going to kind of unlock kind of new opportunities for our kind of clientele. So as we move forward.
And is the token is investable and tradable on other marketplaces or exchanges as well? I mean, because you will have noticed this I guess exchange, what people used to call exchange tokens, right? Like BNB on Binance has done extraordinarily well in recent times, but the Celsius token has also done very well as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's currently available on Uniswap. Ascendex and SushiSwap are pretty much the main three markets that it's currently available on. We're working to make it kind of cross-chain compatible on Binance Smart Chain and other kind of layer twos as well. So really kind of excited on what that future looks like, as well as talking to a number of tier one centralized exchanges that we're currently in discussions with.
Fantastic. I said we'd talk a little bit more about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Obviously, a booming market in its own right at the moment. So, Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how NFTs relate to what you guys are doing at Yield, but I gather there are some plans. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a very exciting space, and besides DeFi, I think it's the most exciting little sector into the crypto markets.
Yep.
Overall, I mean, we're getting requests, I think, all the time for how can we kind of implement NFTs into the Yield app, and I'd say we're kind of actively exploring different opportunities right now, particularly that's kind of coming into the version 2.0 of how what that is ultimately gonna be represented in the app.
Very good. All right. Well, just as we start to finish off on Yield, I might if we take a step back and kind of look at a big picture overview. I'd love to just kind of get your thoughts, Tim, on what you think is happening in the market at the moment, maybe just from a kind of macro crypto market perspective, and also any particular trends that you expect to see play out in DeFi over the months ahead.
So the market is moving, as well as I much faster than I kind of ever anticipated on this particular run. But overall, I mean, you can see adoption is just continued to grow. With the likes of the PayPal's and the Elon Musk of the world that have kind of completely jumped on board and really adopted this at kind of every level. Which I think the most exciting thing is, the more like the price continues to kind of go up, the more eyes that ultimately come into the sector, and that's bringing a lot of really just bright people and bright minds that have really started to like build interesting kind of revolutionary kind of ideas and tech into basically every walk of life into this kind of infrastructure and this whole ecosystem. So I think right now it's a very quite a healthy market at the now. I think it's unfortunately it's kind of dominated by the price. So I think it's an industry that ultimately it's a bit too sensitive to the daily kind of fluctuations of the price, and both euphoric and kind of cataclysmic at the same time. So but overall, I think those that are really building great things are not really deterred from the day-to-day kind of noise of it. So NFTs are going to be a huge part of, I guess, of this future. I mean, people are building very interesting things, and in particular, I think the more exciting things are going to be happening, and probably the more, I guess, boring type of aspects of it. So, I mean, I'm very excited to see what NFTs are going to be doing in kind of more of the insurance aspects and the insurance projects in this and many different financial applications. I think it's really been dominated by the kind of artwork and all the everything that's kind of came out more the entertainment kind of sports world, which at the same time it's pretty, I guess, pretty special to see how much that's been really adopted by so many kind of famous influential figures that have brought new attention to everything that's happening here.
Yeah, so, and I'm just trying to read between the lines as to what you're saying there, Tim. So, am I right in thinking that what you're talking about there is, so you see a use case with NFTs to create some kind of insurance solution, right? So, what do you mean by that? How does that work?
Well, particularly, I mean, we're heads down, kind of working on insurance, be able to solve insurance problems ourselves. And as the crypto world moves so fast compared to kind of the legacy world, to one particular use case that where a group of ours that we're working with has been kind of exploring is how to use NFTs into to the likes of creating and kind of handling premiums. And it's such a diverse and rapid market, and where so in a traditional world you have an asset, and in the case of the insurance, like you've taken out a premium for a particular position that's kind of insuring a has a kind of terms and conditions on that, and sometimes these can last minutes, hours, days, weeks, right? To not even get into the months and years. And so oftentimes we think of like a premium is a month or a kind of a year long, while everything can kind of happen on smart contracts, and you could basically take out things in fractions of a point, where just the sheer bureaucracy and kind of paperwork involved in the traditional world, you couldn't even really contemplate such a time frame. So that asset is a particular asset, and that asset does have a market value, and is basically it's a liquid asset at the same time. So the ability, and it's naturally kind of progressed to that point wherever you can actually use a non-fungible token, and that has the versatility, yet has a kind of a clear understanding of that underlying value in that time frame, and eventually that can run its course, right?
Very interesting. All right. Well, let's just, but we'll go to a break, and I think we'll finish off with the very famous crypto conversation hot take around, Tim, because I'd be fascinated to see what you've got to say there. But just before we do that, I'm always interested in this kind of idea of, kind of fintech thinking versus DeFi thinking, right? Because, DeFi, the kind of, the overwhelming narrative really is that DeFi will turn traditional banking completely upside down, disrupt the big old fat cats in the suits, and the fintech guys have been trying to put a shiny wrapper on the old ways of doing things. But I'm sure you've got something to say here. So yeah, what are the sort of the fintech guys who are sort of the finance 2.0, but now DeFi is really set to put a rocket up everyone's bottom. What do you think?
Well, okay, I'm gonna have my own probably unique perspective on this. I've spent the last 2 years really focused on building a fintech bank. It's called Eki Bank. It's a digital challenger licensed bank on the offshore, really focused on like the corporate and high net worth space. They're very actively building in DeFi as well, and actually in the process of launching their own token, which I'm quite excited about. Everything that they're really building in kind of this interest rate swaps, but particularly in you start to see all the limitations of the kind of legacy kind of financial sector, and trying to build an innovative bank, essentially, in I guess a non-innovative world, when you kind of get to this. But so the two areas that really, obviously, fintech and where kind of DeFi is really merging, particularly it's the ability to move money freely at kind of high velocity and low cost, and without kind of all these barriers. So digital currency, stable coins have, we've naturally kind of seen they have no borders, and so the ability to kind of transact. And now through kind of this DeFi world, where you have these AMMs, and you could be potentially sending and receiving, I could be send you like $10,000 in stablecoin value, and you could be receiving that in Australian dollars, and that can be all kind of happening through kind of this an AMM who's basically able to handle this transaction, and ultimately make it, well, virtually basically fast or instantaneous, and kind of limiting the overall costs when doing this. So and the basically where traditional banks have failed, and we're talking about failed for decades now, is those interest bearing accounts. And so we're quite excited, and like companies like Eki Bank are excited as well. And how can you actually take this kind of static world, and offer them more, I guess, high interest kind of bearing accounts through this DeFi sector. And so that's really kind of where you're kind of seeing, because ultimately, I mean, as a bank, when you really break it down, you need a place that you can be able to take deposits, keep money safe, but people want to earn on their money, right? And so, like now you're seeing new opportunities where you can actually put your capital to work, where it is still quite liquid and available, kind of on demand. Be able to kind of tap into new opportunities that just weren't even available even a year ago at this time for these types of institutions.
That is exactly right. All right, fascinating thoughts, Tim. Well, let's go to a very quick break and then we'll come back and we'll close it out. We'll finish off with the crypto conversation hot take round.
In today's crypto market, the team at Brave New Coin are the sector's leading builders of custom crypto indices. BNC's powerful indexing engine draws on Brave New Coin's premium data to calculate high-frequency intraday and end-of-day indices for a wide range of index products. BNC's custom indices help you to gain exposure to the crypto assets class and track your performance against the market without having to become a stock picker. Not sure what you need? A Brave New Coin consultant can help you assess your requirements. Contact BNC today to find out more. Are you ready to trade the future of crypto today? Introducing Leverage, a self-custodial decentralized exchange that performs with the speed and features you're accustomed to. Leverage is fast. It's powered by Gluon, a revolutionary DeFi infrastructure that makes DeFi work at scale. It brings speed, transparency, and massive gas efficiencies to its users. Say goodbye to exchange hacks, front-running, Ethereum network congestion, and high fees. Leverage is the future of trading. It combines the best features of CeFi with all the benefits of DeFi. Like William Gibson said, the future is already here, but in this case, it's evenly distributed and completely decentralized. Go to leverage.io and trade the future of crypto today.
And we're back, and I am with Tim Frost from the Yield app, bridging the gap between FinTech and DeFi. And well, Tim, look, I like to finish each podcast with a quick round of rapid-fire crypto conversation hot takes. So I just want your hot takes, your hot fire, just quick, snappy answers. Let's get into it. Here we go. Mr. Tim, where do you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-coin opportunist spectrum?
Very much the multi-coin.
Yes, fair enough. It doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, well, what would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
That Bitcoin will ultimately be replaced in dominance in the next 5 years.
Ooh, be interesting to see. Yes, the flippening. All right. Here's a curly one. Let's put you on the spot, Tim. UBI is a potential fix for AI-induced automation or, future wealth inequality around the globe. UBI, is this a good idea or not?
In a variation. So the fixed income is a topic I think that the humanity ultimately needs to move towards.
Okay, hey, very nice. All right, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So look, whatever you like here, what does Bitcoin, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, what does it look like in 10 years' time?
The DeFi world in 10 years' time is quite a time frame, but it's now a common way that we wouldn't even associate with just be able to move and manage and lend and borrow. So most of the financial world is going to be happening through kind of smart contracts that will have adopted new terminology, and it's all about automation, transparency, and just moving an entire global economy 24/7. And this is kind of the beginning of a complete transformation in the financial sector.
Fantastic. Well, on a similar note, William Gibson, a sci-fi author, Tim, he said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people just aren't really aware of it?
Yeah, I think just the fact that, wherever you sit at in the world today, like there's the ability to control your money your way and to kind of move it freely and send and receive value in the way that you want to kind of save. It's here, it's there. I'm building it, you're building it. Just people haven't kind of, I guess, woke up to the fact that it's here, it's trusted, and they can already tap into it.
Fantastic. All right. We're almost done here, Tim, but it's time to get a little bit weird. Time to zoom out and say, what do you see as the long-term future for the human race? Do you see dystopia or utopia?
I think you see a mixed bag, and I think it's all about the lenses you're gonna kind of look to the globe at. I couldn't imagine a better time to be alive, and with everything that's happening, and the more and more people that are rising out of poverty every day. It's still not enough and not fast enough, but I think that we're all on the one side of making this thing the best we can, and even though we have our individual kind of greed that often gets in the way, I think overall we all strive for to make this a better place for future generations.
That is exactly right, and that brings us to the final question on the show, Tim, and that is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, show, or universe?
Science fiction. I'm never really been into the sci-fi world in general, so I'm quite probably born on that front, but it's never really captured my imagination.
That's okay, because you're building the sci-fi future here on Earth, on the blockchain, and that is perfectly acceptable, Tim. All right, look, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. Nothing else to say really, except hand the microphone back to you and just say, tell the people where they can go to find you on your various platforms, and where they should go to learn all about Yield and get involved.
Yeah, no, thanks, Andy, for having me. Check us out at yield.app. We got a kind of active community that's quite engaging, and we're constantly looking to produce content that kind of can really educate people on everything that's kind of happening and the new trends in the crypto world. And it just overall, we're just focused on building better money and better ways of kind of be able to take advantage and utilize your money. So
awesome. Hey, thanks very much, Tim. All the best, and bye for now.
Thanks a lot for having me.